So I'm playing all my music off, it's streaming off my phone. Yep, through our wireless, absolutely. So this is, can you see up the top it says home? That's called a group. So I've created a group called home, and all these devices are connected to that group, okay? Therefore, this is how we go about adding a new device, a Google Mini or a Sonoff. And we would say set up device, and we have two, new device or something that's already connected. So we want set up new device. That one makes sense because that's the group. So in your first attempt, you'll need to create a group. And I've already got mine. So the bottom right hand corner we've got next. And it's now going to look for the devices on your system. And it's found something. So it said it hasn't found anything in particular because I haven't done anything new. So I just click that. Oh, no, we'll try that one. No, so it's not helping. We'll try it again. Looking. What would happen, it would find the devices and it would then ask you what Wi-Fi network you're on and what the password is. That's it. That's as far as you need to go with the installation of this device. That is a good question. Yeah, because it's just the Wi-Fi that I'm using. I haven't specifically. I don't think so, because it's using a Wi-Fi. When I was playing my music, yes, it's Bluetooth. But that's a good question. I can show you that. In the settings, in my Bluetooth, can you see it says bathroom speaker, kitchen speaker, office, shed? I think this one is my kitchen. Yeah, it said connected. See how it says connected? So yes, the Bluetooth for streaming the audio, but it's not for the control. It's a different thing. It's Wi-Fi. That make sense? And that's all part of the setup. This thing will handle it for you. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not letting me get through this stage. You're not getting to see that. But I can assure you what happens is if you keep pressing these buttons on this screen, it'll actually ask you for give you a list of Wi-Fi connections. Press on the one, your home one, put in the password, and it's done. So it is as easy as that. Then you can do things like when you actually press it. So if I press the hall speaker, which is what I've now called it here, I can now change the volume. Oh, it didn't pop. Okay. Now, what I pressed then was the star button, the cog up the top there. And in here are some settings, and it's quite interesting. So you can see that it's linked to an account. That's important. For every Google device, you need to have a Google account. So you need to make sure you're connected. You wouldn't have been able to fire up Google Home without it. All right, that's how it's all connected. I've called it the hall speaker. I could do anything I want to. My address, what the group is, where it says home, I've just called it home. The room, I don't know what the well-being is. No idea what that is. But down here, you can choose the default speaker. And if you've got a multiple of these, you can set which one is the main one that you might want to send all the time stuff to. So there's the interesting one, pairing the Bluetooth devices. So when you press, you need to press that button to pair it, and you can see enable pairing mode, and then it'll tell you which one it is paired to already. Okay, do we see all that? So you need to be able to pair it to be able to play music to it. It's got nothing to do with the controller, it's to play the music. So we're pairing that to the Wi-Fi, through the Wi-Fi, or through the Bluetooth and my phone directly. Okay? There is, now the remove device is important. It's such fine print. If you need to get rid of it and delete it, that's where you, and want to start from scratch, that's where you would do it, is you would hit this remove device, and then you can start from over. If you've stuffed it all up, that's how you can get rid of it. All right. So we've now added the device to the app, the home, the Google Home application, and as you can see, hall one device, hall speaker, it's on its own. You can then go and add where settings, where was it? There was a, here we are. I've forgotten where it was. Do you remember where it was, Mohan? The one that did the adding the son off. Yeah, I've done there. That one is the same one, but it's not coming up. Ah, there it is. Set up. Oh no, set up. Set up new. Next. Come on. There was. What was that? Sorry? Yeah, I think I need to get rid of it, delete it. I've already done it, as you can see. If you see down the bottom here, I've got the three. They're three son-offs. 2 at home and one's here. So I will see if I can get it back. No, it's not there. Damn it. I had it all set up. Oh, hang on. What I'm trying to do now is delete that one. That'll be here. So I'm going to remove this, do that. So you can see. You need to see it because it's important. And if we go click, I'm going to remove this as well. Oh, that's in a different area. So here we go. We'll do one. Okay. Add. Set up device up the top there. Set up a new device. I've already created a home group. We'll go next. So it's looking. I'm going to pare it down. Oh, there it goes. You'll hear this thing go bing, and it says that it's powered up. So I can't do anything until it's done. No, it did it, but the volume was low. Okay, add, set up new device. Next. So it's going to go looking for it. Oh, what? No, it should already be there. It doesn't use. It's not connected to the Wi-Fi. I need to be connected to a network, and as you can see, I'm connected to Mel PC, right? And this thing, the Google Mini, will be looking at all the networks that are in the room, but when you try to pair it, it will go looking for all the different Wi-Fi connections, and it knows what the phone's connected to, but then this thing goes hunting. Why is that not working? All right, we'll try this. Are you kidding me? Pardon? No, I'm not connected to that yet. I think we might come back to that for the time being, so that we're not getting too bored. So another program that we need to, another app we need to download is IFTT. Do we all know what IFTTT is? No? It's a broker network, a broker piece of software that you can add your own what we call applets. And I'm going to go through and give you a demonstration of how easy this is. Once you register with IFTTT, you will have your own account. You can download an app, or you can do it on a laptop. Okay? There is the ability to go to that. When you get to, if you go down the bottom, it says My Applets. Click on there, and in the top right-hand corner, you've got plus. So we're going to add a new applet. Okay? So this IFTTT means if this, then that. So it's a set of instructions. So see how it says plus this? You press on that blue text, and it takes you to the next step. And in the services that are available in there, there are hundreds. Oops, wrong thing, sorry. What happened then? Well, there's things like OpenHab, stuff I've never heard of, Harvest, whatever the heck that is. There is hundreds of them. But if you type in here, and this is the one you need to remember, Google, and it will, oops, Google, it's come up with the Google functions. And the one we want is Google Assistant, which is the voice command structure. So if we click on Google Assistant, what it's asking us for is, what do you want Google to do? And we want it to say a simple phrase. What do we want to do with Google Assistant? Say a simple phrase. So that first line there, see it says say simple phrase. And this section here is, what do we want to say? It might be something like select training room light. So if I set that as a phrase, something Google, select training room light, on. So you need to distinguish whether you want to do on or off. When you say that and it recognizes it, the Google Mini will reply back with a voice command. And this is where we write it. What do you want the assistant to say in response? And I will say, training room. Oops. That'd be interesting. Training room, light, on. So that's what the reply would be. So this is what we call a trigger. So we're going to create this trigger. So it means that when I speak the words select training room light on, it will respond with training room light on. Once we receive that as a command, it will then talk to something else, to action something. It's that mode. So we click on that. And again, in here, there's hundreds and hundreds of different applications. But the one I want is called, and you might want to write this down if you want to remember it. That one. And what that is the people who make Sonoff have created this smart home website and a link for you to be able to talk to your Sonoffs. And if you watch what happens, I've selected it. And where it says turn 4 channels, 3 channels, 2 channels, and 1, it means that you can group 4 units together, 3 units together, 2 units together, or 1 unit. I'm just going to do the 1. And it then went and looked for, do I have a registered account with EW-Link? And yes, I do. And I had created these 3 names for the Sonoff relays themselves. Select the one I want. Done. I want to turn it on or off. So in this case it was on. Create the action. And that's it. Just save that. So it's now saved. So if I go to my Google Assistant now, hey Google, turn on training room light.
Sure, turning the training room light on.
Hey Google, turn off the training room light. Now I had pre-programmed that one.
Off the training room light.
It was as hard as that. There was one step I've missed, and that's the actual setting up of the EW-Link, and I'll do that now for you. But does anybody want me to go over that again? Anybody, please, feel free. No? We're all good with that? It's pretty straightforward. But what's very powerful is there's a whole heap of other things you can do with it. We'll just go back. I'm going to show you something amazing Mohan and I have been working on. We'll do this. If we go, again, we're going to create a new applet. This, we're going to use Google Assistant again. So it's the voice command. and we go to a simple phrase, and we'll just say, now this is not going to work because unfortunately there's something broken somewhere. They haven't figured out what it is, but you'll get an idea of what it can do. Let's just say something like select smart drink bottle. And we don't have to put anything in this section as a feedback, but it's just a positive audio feedback to say that it's been selected. So I'll just say drink bottle selected. And these are just words. They don't need to be anything, because what you're about to see is I have the ability to then send this to what we call a webhook. See web hooks? So if I click on that, I can make a web request. Okay, I'm going to click that. Now, I need to switch over to my laptop and show you something. And I'm connected to home. There it is. My assistant has failed me. So at home, I've got Node-RED running, and I've created this node, and I need to know my IP address. Okay? So all I've done is I've put this node in, and it's just /home automation. That could be any word that you write in there at all. It's just a connection point name. Okay, right? So if we go back to my screen, I then put in to the URL this. You don't need to write this down because this is only going to work for your house. This is my place, all right? Now this is the port that Node-RED is using on my service, not yours. And then this is the URL, which will be home automation. Okay, does that make sense? So what we're saying is that the webhook, this is the location where we want the web connection to be made to. And it will physically come to my Node-RED, that socket, nowhere else. It's the only place it'll go to. And then we're going to post some text. And this is what's really cool. I can write whatever I want into the body. So it's going to send a message, and in the body could be anything. And it could be open garage door, turn a light on, turn Sean's amazing skull feature to start yabbering away, turn the television on, whatever smarts that you want to do. What will happen is, when that's issued, so when I speak into the box, you'll talk to IFTTT, and then instruct to a webhook and talk to there, and coming out of that on those lines is exactly the words that I wrote in that text, in that body. So then in software, you can then say, if this was spoken, do something. Turn on a relay, turn on infrared, yes? Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So what I'm trying to show you is that you can create as many of those webhooks and through Google Minis talk to Node-RED and whatever else you want to do. You know, You could write software that might have a Python script that does other things that you want it to do. Give me some ideas. Control your MIDI, not MIDI, DMX controllers for lighting structures. Sorry? Aircons, absolutely. So the beauty is, you can write whatever you want and make your own command structure using this through very, very simple apps that are on my phone. I didn't have to write any software. I just typed in a handful of instructions. That's absolutely amazing. So I won't put side gate because that will open the side gate. Let's see. Just say select TV. Create the action. It's going to save it. And we just need to press finish down the bottom here. All right, that just closes it all off. So I'll just recap on what happened then, because there's a number of things that happened. One, we registered with IFTT, then created My Applets. So in My Applets, these are all the ones I've got. Then you add your own applet, and then from here we selected the Google Assistant function. A simple phrase, so very simple wording function. What do we want to reply with? Create the trigger. Do what with it? In this case, a webhook. Whoops, what happened there? A webhook. Make the request. And then we type in our URL for your home. A few blank faces there. Is that too deep? Is anybody lost in the functionality of all that? John? John Swell? You good? John Macy? Okay. So that, to me, that's a very powerful tool, because what it gives me is the ability to speak into here and issue commands, and whatever I want to be able to send in that body of text, I can then control anything that I can imagine, right? Whether you want it to do a website adjustment, start a CNC machine, start a projector up, to the lights, all sorts of things. Now, I'm going to show you another really cool function that I've found whilst playing with all this. Adding this, and this is worth remembering. I did this at Bill's place. Does it work, Bill? Turn on at dusk? This is really cool. What I've done is I've got weather underground. Do you see that in the top right there? Weather underground. If you look at the list, one of the things it's got is sunset. So if I just hit that, I can say at sunset, go to my EW link. So we're going to go this, EW link, and we're going to turn on a single relay, and we're going to turn on the training room light, turn it on. So at dusk, my light will turn on. And the beauty of that is that it will turn on at the official dusk time. There's no adjustments for daylight saving, there's no adjustments for the time of the year, the months as it changes. I notice each night it's a couple of minutes earlier because we're now starting to go towards our shortest day of the year. That is a really useful tool for security. That's like, what, 4 lines of pressing buttons, and it works out. The only complication is you need to be able to set up, see if there it is, top right-hand corner, that cog is in here. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you need to edit the location. Okay? Otherwise it might be San Francisco time. So that wouldn't work. So that's the only complication you've got to do. But once that's set, Weather Underground then becomes registered to you at your location. That's pretty awesome. It's called, there it is right there, it's Weather Underground. I'll go back. I'll add this. Top right hand. I like it, the Weather Underground one, because like I'm not going to be home tonight until my lights will turn on throughout the house. I could have instructed the AMX system, my smart system, through the home automation webhook, an instruction to turn on the TV, set it to a certain volume, and it sounds like I'm home. I could also put on the an audio wave file that's a barking dog at the front door. Haven't got to that one yet. Any questions on that? Yeah. Yep. Yep. Good question. And I'll just switch the screen because you could issue a command that says turn air conditioner on. Just as simple as that. That string would come out here, then you can write a little thing that says if that string, turn air conditioner on, happens, and I'll do it. I'll do it on the screen for you. Show you how simple this is. Actually, no, it's not that one, is it? I'm going to demonstrate one of the things you can do, and that we can then, on the Raspberry Pi, switch a particular relay on and off. That's one function. What we need to do in your case is on the Raspberry Pi, you might have to run a Python script, which will be something like this. And you need to shell to a Python script, which might be with some command arguments that says air conditioner on. And in there, you can then write it where one of the pins on the Raspberry Pi becomes an infrared emitter to actually transmit the infrared code. And the beauty of the Pi, it actually has the ability to learn the remotes. You can actually learn the remotes or get it from a library. Yeah, that's a very complex structure, but it has done. Mohan and I were playing with that about 6-7 months ago. We actually learnt a whole heap of IR codes, stored them, and were able to recall them through a Python shell. So yeah, there's one you could do using an infrared, pseudo-infrared command structure. Rob, you were going to ask something? So that's what you would do? Yeah. So there's if you look up, and you might want to write this down, Adafruit IR library. That's, and I'll type it in here for you. See this? Although this is in the Arduino, there's actually IR Raspberry. There it is, right there. And in there it'll show you how to create, learn. Here's the Python library. No, that's some sort of, that's another type of sensor. I'm not sure what that is. What's a BMP sensor? Anyone know what that is? I've never heard of that. Oh, is it? Oh, there you go. All right. Yeah, this one here was created for the Raspberry Pi as a media player. So this had, yeah, there it is. This one, if you see, there's an IR emitter on the end of that, and you can, that might be the receiver, and you're learning those remote control codes, get stored, and then you can retransmit it. But here's all the instructions. How to deal with it, what the hardware you need, what the software is. Very simple. It really is simple. But that's another functionality of using the Pi and the Node-RED and talking through IFTTT. You then, through the Google Mini, have the ability to open up a world of connectivity. Any questions? Anything? It's a shame that this thing wouldn't work. I'll give it another go. Did you have a question? Oh, right. Anything? Oh, Mohan's got something. Oh, that's all right. So you're going to connect your laptop?
I'm not a headset kind of guy. No worries. Do you guys need a cup of coffee, or you're good to go still? Okay, take a cup. I found a video.
Pretty nice desktop size unit. We have handles here so you can just pick it up. It's pretty much portable. I've mounted the power supply to the back. You can also mount your electronics back there. It's completely moddable. There's ideas for vacuum hold down. You could do reduction systems across the top here. We can create a bellows systems here. So let's just take a quick look at the overview of the mini mill. You can see here you have an up and down Z axis, and this uses a C-beam double wide gantry plate which utilizes mini V wheels. They ride inside the track. So this whole thing, including the motor everything that you see here locked in would be the Z-axis actuator. And of course it has a router mount and spindle mounted to it. If you look across here, you'll notice this is similar. This is our X-axis. And it also has the motor, flexible coupling, the lead screw. However, it uses the C-beam XL plate, which, as you notice here, rides on the outside of the C-beam. Also has the jog knob. So this in itself is an actuator as well. Across the bottom here, you'll see we have the Y-axis actuator. You can see this is the longest of the actuators. So the Z-axis is the shortest. The X is the middle, and then the Y is the longest. And again, it's very similar, has your motor, lead screw driven, the works. So these three actuators combined create this machine. We also have what I like to call frame components, which are basically exactly that, the frame. They make up the unit, which are these back areas here, and by bolting these together in this configuration, you can attach your actuators to it and create a really cool machine using modular V-slot components. To get started, we're going to build the X-axis. It is the middle size axis, and it's the one that you see across here. Okay, so to get started, you're going to want to grab your 3 lead screws. These are the 3 lead screws for the 3 X, Y, and Z actuators. Let's just take a look. I'm going to line them up small to large. And this way you'll know what you're working with. So the smallest one here is going to be your Z-axis. That's your up and down. The left to right is your X, and then the longest one is going to be the Y. So out of all 3 of them, we want the middle size one here. We're going to go ahead and put it to the side, put the other ones away, and let's move on to the next step. All right, so let's get started. Locate 4 of the extreme solid V-wheel kits. Let's go ahead and pour out the contents. Show you how to build one of these. So you have your wheel shell, you have 2 bearings, 2 of the precision shims, and 1 M5 lock nut. So basically just push a bearing in the wheel shell, flip it over, put one of the precision shims in there, it's a spacer between the bearings, and then take the other bearing and press fit it in, like you see here. Don't worry if the washer's offset a little bit. When you go to put it on the screw, it'll go on there. And that's all you need to do right now. So let's go ahead and build all 4 of these. Okay, so we have all 4 of the wheel kits built. Now we'll go ahead and grab the C-beam XL gantry plate. You'll need this next. This is what it looks like. As well as 4 of our 25mm low profile screws. We also need our 2 6mm aluminum spacers and 2 6mm eccentric spacers. Let's move on to the next step. All right, for this step, we're going to be attaching the wheels to the XL gantry plate. So you need your 8mm wrench and Allen key. And I just want to show you a couple things on this plate. You'll notice there's a larger set of holes here on the back. And these holes are designed for the eccentrics to fit into the lip here. If you notice, the eccentric has a lip on it. And they slide right in like this. This gives you that cam function of moving the wheel back and forth to tighten or loosen it on the rail system. And then opposite side of the plate, you'll see we have our standard holes here with the recesses. And these will just be for our standard aluminum spacers on the bottom. So we'll go ahead and start building. In fact, I think we'll start with these standard holes here at the bottom. We're only concerned with these outside set of holes here, and as well on the eccentric. So we're putting 4 wheels on this plate. Go ahead and get your low profile screw, slide it in, just like you see here, just follow along, finger on there, get your aluminum spacer, slide it on, get one of your precision shims that you have left over from the wheel kit. One side is kind of sharp and the other side has like a rounded edge. Make sure you put the rounded edge facing up away from the plate. Our next move is to bring our wheel in. I also like to take the Open Builds logo and face it out. And then last but not least, our M5 lock nut. Let's go ahead and hand tighten that for now. And that's good. Go ahead and set the plate like this. Get our wrench, our Allen, and let's go ahead and tighten that down just a little. Don't have to overdo it, just snug it in place. Make sure that you have free movement, you have a nice tight fit, and that's really nice. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do this hole. Opposite side here. Same routine. Screw, spacer, again feel for the rounded side, face it out. Go ahead, look for the logo, Base it out, M5 lock nut, and let's go ahead and tighten this one in position. That's really nice. So we have two of them on, two of the wheels are on there, and they're nice and tight, but they roll nice and smooth. So we're going to focus our attention on the two wheels that will use the eccentrics here. Before we get started on that, I want you to take your eccentric and take note of how it's an offset cam. And if you notice on the inside hull, the farthest point here, if you look...
Alrighty, so that's that. Yes. Well, I'm not. Yes. But that's the final product in the end. And Sean's going to do it in half an hour. The interesting thing is that he was actually using a board, but I don't know whether it obviously didn't come with the kit. They have a board. I don't know. I was trying to find out what the board was called. X Pro. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. X Pro CNC controller. Oh, $211. No thanks. You should really have a look at his control. It's really good. Although it's with the laser one in it. I mean, the other one that people use is just a normal RAM sport. You can use it for CNC as well, I suppose. Well, Sean's bought the bits, so I was going to get him to start off if he was game enough. Absolutely, a live assembly. So the RAM Sport is the one that they use for 3D printers, and they will do the trick because they've got stepper motor drivers and usually an Arduino Mega built in. So it was call it 2 guide, isn't it? I just wanted to note the well, it's Sean's kit. It's not my kit. It's Sean's kit. So he just brought it in for show and tell. Are you game enough to do it now? Okay. Yep. I'll go to Rob. Yep. Yep. I'm just having a look at the touch screen that he's using, or similar. Okay. Stylus as well. Did you get a stylus? Ooh. Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. Yep, yep. So that worked no problem at all, huh?
So yeah, it comes with an install script. So it's just running the script that loads the drivers, the modules in the mini script is running
Raspbian, yep.
So yeah, basically runs quite successfully after the setup installation was done. The calibration exercise
Yep.
to define the four
Yep.
corners so that you get accurate pointing stuff. I've actually done it yet, but yeah, it's working quite well. The other thing that I've subsequently done is install something called Matchbox Keyboard, which is just available from the repository to start with. That brings up an on-screen keyboard, which you might just be able to make out from the back of the room there.
Have you got VNC on there? Is there VNC on that?
We can put HDMI up on the screen if you want.
Oh, it's directly. Yeah, can you do?
I should wait for it to
Use the other
set it
one.
up the other night, so
recording this, by the way. Does anyone have any objections to me recording this session today? Good. Just wanted to double check. I'm actually broadcasting it to YouTube, just testing that, see how that goes today. The thing I like about YouTube is the fact that you've got comments as well, so people can actually, while it's live broadcasting, can actually just type comments here directly as well. I did. Yep. You want to switch? Why? Why does it need to switch?
Yeah, we made a keyboard in there.
Also VNC. There is VNC on
No, I haven't.
SSH. If I can SSH to it, I can get to the interface. The demo got it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to restart it. I'll get going.
While he's doing that, I've got it going. Watch this. Hey, Google, turn on the training room lights.
Okay, turning on the training room light.
Hey, Google, turn off the training room lights.
Sure, turning the training room light off.
It's just a account setting for the Google.
You know what the IP address is? It is 97. Yep. Do you want to? Is it Pi Raspberry or is it something?
Something else.
Do you want to put it for me? Oh no, just the username. Just the username.
Where are we?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, just the username.
Oh, it's Pi SIG, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah. Just in. Okay. Yep. Just say no to that. Should be able to do. Should be able to do.
Can you hold on a minute?
No, it's. Hold on.
Got quite a bit of stuff to load.
It shouldn't affect me though, should it?
Quite down.
Is it a Pi 2? Great. It's just a different.
Standard Debian software.
Yeah. They hide the good stuff from you.
So if you go to accessories,
Yes.
you can see the keyboard.
Keyboard.
Four pictures.
Right.
So that's the first keyboard I've found that maybe is a better one.
I use.
What we're intending to do
Yep.
is actually have the keyboard embedded in the app so that a couple of screens where text and entry is required will be activated. So at the moment that's situation that's all. The system uses called a Postgre SQL database embedded in a Docker. Got to hold it like that, bro. Yeah, so the applications involved are a PostgreSQL database, PostgreSQL database embedded in a Docker application. So that's what records the downloaded member information. So we get that information from Civi CRM, which is the Melbourne PC application for membership management. I'm talking too quietly, am I? Okay.
It's probably Bill's got a microphone at the back.
So testing 1, 2, 3. You're getting an echo. Testing 1, 2, 3. Less. Okay. So yeah, PostgreSQL DB and what? Yeah, it's got a delay, hasn't it? That wasn't happening the other night. Will I try a headset? So what we do is we have a local copy of the database fields that we need saved to this device. And I'm getting my echo back. And it's a little bit off-putting. So what it then does is once you swipe your card with your little QR device here, it'll make a noise like that. And I can actually bring it up. If you start the browser, I'll close the browser here.
He's probably done it in exploit.
So if you go localhost required. Yeah, we'll have to go through the authentication part of it. We haven't developed that side of it. Yeah, we'll have to go through the authentication. Yep. Hello, we're getting micros. Okay. We just got some feedback. Echo, 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 echo. Echo, echo. So this is back to the login.